I supposed to make this work? That is white.
You make me wanna throw my picture out the window. Tell MCI to cut the phone poles. Break my lease so I can move. Cause you a bugaboo, a bugaboo.
Hi guys, welcome and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, as you can see from the title, we're going to be testing and reviewing the new Ordinary concealers. I wanted to create this video to help you guys pick your shade and let you know my thoughts and opinions. So if you want to see my review and my thoughts on these concealers, then keep on watching. So we're going to get straight into testing the concealers. Yeah, so I picked up two of the concealers because I was unsure on what shade to get. The shades that I picked up were 3.0Y, which is described as medium dark with yellow undertones. Then I also picked up 3.2N, which is described as deep neutral. And this shade is actually the same shade as my foundation. So I wanted to see how the foundation and the concealer shades kind of match up together, because I believe on the website it says that the shades are transferable. So whatever your foundation shade is, it should correspond with your concealer shade. And then I also got a shade to highlight. So this is what the packaging looks like. It's very sleek, very tiny in its design. Is the applicator we kind of do, but I'm not sure how I feel about this type of applicator for a concealer, but we'll see. I've already applied foundation on my face, so I'm gonna go in and swatch the two colors. Concealer is very, very thick, so I want to try to demonstrate to you guys how this actually squeezes out. As you can see, it's quite thick in its texture. On the bottom here we have the shade 3.2N, and on the top we have the shade 3.0Y. So I'm noticing that this shade would be more of like a corrector shade for me, and this shade is looking really, really light and really, really yellow on camera. So what I'm gonna do is swatch some of my other concealer shades that I use just to help you guys reference the colors. So on the bottom we have the Too Faced Born This Way concealer in the shade Chestnut. On the top we have the L'Oreal Infallible More Than concealer in the shade Honey, and on the top we have the e.l.f. 16 Hour Camo Concealer in the shade Deep Chestnut. These three concealers are looking like what the two bottom concealers would look like if they had a baby. So judging by the colors that I've bought, I'm gonna apply the shade 3.2N where I feel like I need a little bit more coverage. So that's just gonna be around my cheek area here. I'm just gonna squeeze a tiny bit on the back of my hand like this. So to apply the concealer, I'm just gonna use a clean brush like this. This is what's gonna help me to pick up the concealer and apply it. And I'm just gonna, okay, that's looking like a good highlight shade. Okay, cool. You know what's really weird is that when you squeeze it out, it looks quite dark, but once you start to blend it, it seems quite light. So I'm just gonna go in with this shade. You know what, I'm just gonna squeeze it directly on my face, just a little bit like this. And then I've never worked with this kind of applicator before, so I don't really know what to expect. So I'm taking a damp sponge, and this is the e.l.f. Camo Concealer Sponge, and I'm just gonna pat this in. Okay. On first thoughts, it's a matte concealer. The coverage is definitely there. The coverage is definitely there. It's quite, I would say it's quite easy to blend. In terms of the shade, I actually really like this shade for my skin tone. I would say this is more of a natural highlight. This is literally just a shade lighter. I'm gonna just apply a bit more again. This time I'm just gonna blend it out with the sponge directly. Okay. I want to see. Okay. Yeah, so I would definitely say spread it out first and then go in with the sponge, but it's definitely buildable. I really like the coverage. I really like the color of that shade. I really do. So this is the side with no concealer and this is the side with concealer. So as you can see, my face looks noticeably more lifted and covered. Pairs really, really well with the corresponding foundation shade. So what I'm gathering from this so far is if you were to pick up the same shade of the concealer that you are in your foundation, it's literally gonna be like a shade lighter, which I like, which is really good because not everybody wants that dramatic highlighted look. Sometimes balances the redness of the foundation. I don't know if you guys can tell, but this side of my face is more red because this is the side with just the foundation on, but once I've added the concealer, it kind of just brings everything together. So I feel like the concealers are going to be a good way to balance out the undertones of your face, considering that they don't have as many shades in the foundation as they do in the concealer. The other side, I'm going to go in with the shade 3.0Y and we're going to test how bright this is. So again, I'm just going to squeeze. Oh god, oh my god, I'm looking at this already and this looks ghostly. The other side of this flat brush, and I'm just going to use this to no. Are you joking? How am I supposed to make this work? No. How am I supposed to make this work? That is white. I'm gonna take the others. I don't even know how I'm supposed to make this work. Good, I got this shade because I was gonna get a shade lighter than this. So the shades are not making sense. I'm gonna go in with the other side of the sponge now and I'm gonna blend this. No, I'm gonna blend this out. This is almost ghostly. Like 3.2 is described as deep neutral and 3.0 is described as medium dark with yellow undertones. So if you're my shade or darker, 3.0 is going to be a shade that you would possibly put over top of your normal concealer shade to brighten. If I go now to layer this on top, I feel like this would layer really, really nicely. In all honesty, I'm not a fan of the applicator. I feel like the applicator is just a pain. Yeah, the formula is very, very matte, which I like. The lighter shade layers really nicely on top of the foundation shade, which I like. I feel like that is a really nice shade to layer on top of the first shade for a really nice bright under eye. As far as the formula goes, I wouldn't leave it to sit on your face for too long because it is a very matte formula. It's very thick in its consistency, so definitely try to bear that in mind. So I guess that explains the applicator. The applicator makes more sense to me. To set the concealer, I'm just going to go in with my RCMA No Color powder like this. I'm going in with this powder just because I feel like it's the most consistent powder that I have in my collection. So I'm just going to set with a brush because that is what I would normally do. It sets really, really nicely. I'm noticing, I don't know if you guys can see that, a little bit of dryness there. A bit of dryness, a little bit of patchiness, but I do have dry skin. So I feel like this concealer is almost self-setting in a way. Like you really don't need to go in with too much. I like the way the concealer looks. Like the way the concealer looks on the face, it looks really nice. This side especially, my face looks really, I like that. This side not so much, but this side it looks really nice. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mix the two shades together. So I'm just gonna highlight my chin, my forehead, above my lip and my nose. So this is 3.2 on its own, and this is 3.2 and 3 mixed together, and this is the type of shade that I would go for. So I'm just gonna, yeah, and blend it out again. But this concealer is perfect if you have oily skin. If you have oily skin, I feel like you're gonna love this. If you have dry skin, you need to prep your skin properly. As always, I just feel like us dry skin girls, we have to be extra careful with what types of formulas we use. Okay, so I applied the rest of my makeup. I don't have anything, you know, too crazy, just a normal everyday glam. My final thoughts on this concealer. I like the concealer. The concealer retails for a good price and you get a decent amount. You get 8 milliliters and I feel like it lives up to its claims. Is it a high coverage concealer? Yes. Covered my under eye, left everything looking really flawless. It's buildable because, as you can see on this side, I layered it quite a few times and it's looking pretty decent on camera. I mean, from what I can see on the camera, it looks nice, and in person it does look really flawless. As far as the shades go, I feel like we need to have more in between shades because the variety we have, it's a good start, but there's gonna be a lot of people who are gonna need to mix shades together. Now, considering the price point of the concealer, I don't feel like that's a bad thing. However, if you're somebody like me who doesn't really enjoy mixing products, then you might find that a bit frustrating. As far as the formula goes, it's a very matte formula. It's very drying, it's very thick. It's giving me e.l.f. Camo Concealer, but thicker. It doesn't necessarily dry down quickly, but I wouldn't leave it to dry down, if that makes sense. What I will say about this though, I feel like it's more of a self-setting formula, as in you don't necessarily need to set it, but if you do, set lightly. If you are gonna purchase one of these, purchase the same shade that you are in your foundation, because that way, if you don't like the formula, it's always a good concealer to mix in with others that you do like. I feel like this concealer is going to be perfect for if you have a wrong shade of a foundation, or if you want to change the formula or the color of something, then I would recommend getting these, because they're almost like little mixtures. I would call them like add-ons to your kit. I wouldn't say that they're necessary. I would probably recommend them to somebody who is more experienced with makeup. Let's say a makeup artist who needs to adjust the color of a foundation, of a concealer that's already in their collection. However, having said that, I enjoyed the concealer. I feel like I can make this work. So I feel like these two shades mixed together form the perfect shade for me personally. I do like the way that it looks on the skin. These concealers are gonna be good for somebody who likes the full glam, kind of bright Kylie Jenner, Naomi Campbell 90s under eye. I feel like these concealers are gonna be perfect for that. So that is it for my review. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe if you'd like to see more tutorials and more reviews like this, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.